What's up everybody, it's Sean here, back today to give you guys a review of the Nike Air Trainer 1 in this Chlorophyll colorway. Today's video was sponsored by the good people from Heffelux. Heffelux is my all-time favorite sneaker insoles, and they sell ETP insoles, which essentially is the same material you'll find in Adidas Boost. So if you're looking to add some additional comfort inside your shoes, be sure to check out their website, which I've linked down below in the description box. You'll see they sell a variety of different insoles, so depending on the type of insole density and the cushioning setup you're looking for, you're going to find there's a suitable insole for everybody. So I've been a paying customer of Heffelux for years now, and to me, I personally find them to be very comfortable. So if you guys want to check them out and try a pair for yourself, be sure to use the code SEANGO at checkout and get 15% off your entire purchase. So this in my hand is one of the most iconic Nike shoes of all time. The Air Trainer 1, designed by the legendary Tinker Hatfield, released originally back in 1987, and this Chlorophyll colorway was the debut colorway. So Tinker noticed that people that went to the gym, they'd bring a huge duffel bag, bringing multiple shoes for different purposes. So for example, they'd bring a shoe for running, a shoe for court sports, and a shoe for weight training. And that's really where the idea of this Air Trainer 1 came from. He sought to create a shoe that could be used for a variety of different reasons. So when you went to the gym, all you need to wear was this one pair. And as for the color scheme of the shoe, he was actually inspired by the colors found at his gym of white, gray, black, and green. And while this shoe doesn't have that same level of cachet as, for example, the Air Max 1 or the Air Max 90, for example, it's still very iconic in its own right, worn by tennis legends such as Andre Agassi and John McEnroe. And the last time we saw a proper retro of this shoe was 10 years ago in 2012, but then 2 years ago they released an SB version, which was a little bit different than this, but for all intents and purposes it was very similar. So these released a few weeks back in Europe and Nike Canada's website, but they dropped on May 20th in the US for a price of $120 US or 160 Canadian dollars. And the official colorway for this shoe is white, black, and medium gray. So first things first, here's a quick look at the box. And as you can see, this comes in this OG inspired box. We have this red colored lid with the Nike Air branding on the side, and the bottom is done in this striped gray fashion. As for the shoe itself, so diving into the details, on the toe box, this is covered in this white leather, and we have these 3 rows of perforations running across. Surrounding the front toe cap, we have this medium gray colored nubuck, which feels very nice to the touch. And then overlaid on top of this on the lateral side only, we have this nicely tumbled black colored leather. On top of this, on the forefoot, this is where you'll find the Air Trainer 1's signature strap, which is constructed out of a black colored rubber with Nike branding in green, and you'll see that it's held together using Velcro. Moving downwards on the lateral side, we have more of that gray colored nubuck, and the top 2 eyelets are constructed out of this TPU plastic, and it's done in this green color. And then underneath this, stitched on top, we have this black leather swoosh. But if I flip the shoe over to the medial side, you'll see here this mid panel is actually constructed out of that smooth white leather, and we have these perforations found throughout instead of a Nike swoosh. Moving downwards, surrounding the top portion of the ankle collar area, we have more of that smooth white leather, and then wrapping around the bottom of the heel, we have more of that gray colored nubuck, and we have Nike Air embroidered in the center in green, and above this, the leather here is done in this ribbed fashion. As for the laces, so these come with 1 pair of laces only, and they're just your standard flat style lace in white. Underneath this, the entire tongue is actually constructed out of that same smooth leather, and at the very top we have this square tag with Nike Air Trainer branding. And then as we take a look at the insoles, these come with their standard foam lined insole. It's lined in this green colored textile on the top, and pressed on the heel we have Nike Air branding in black. So the upper of the shoe sits atop this full length foam midsole, which is painted in the most part in white, but we have this accent of black surrounding the top portion of the back half of the shoe. Towards the forefoot, you'll see there's a lateral rubber outrigger, and this is here to give you added stability for those side-to-side motions. And not visible to the eye, but encapsulated within this foam midsole, there is Nike Airsole technology for cushioning. Finally, turning the shoe over to the bottom, here we have your outsole, which is constructed out of rubber in white and gray. We have this circular pivot point on the forefoot, along with this small Nike word mark along the medial edge in the middle. So that breaks down the look and the construction of these Air Trainer 1s. And for those wondering about sizing, to me, I'm a true size 10, slightly on the wider side. I got these in a size 10 and they fit me well in a nice snug way. So the Air Trainer 1 can fit a little bit snug for really wide footers, especially around this area right here. And even for me with my slightly wide feet, I could only tighten this up about halfway. So if you have narrow, normal, or slightly wide feet, then true to size should be okay. But if you have really wide feet, you might want to consider going up that half size. Next up, in terms of the comfort, so the Air Trainer 1 is a very stable shoe. And considering this is from 1987, it's not going to be anything too advanced. However, the foam midsole actually feels quite responsive, especially underneath the heel. You can feel that cushioning, but generally speaking, it feels pretty flat to the ground. And the forefoot area feels a bit stiffer and it feels very locked in and stable. So if you want to work out in these, then by all means, but for just an everyday casual use shoe, they're going to be okay for that too. Last but not least, in terms of the overall quality and craftsmanship. So first off, material quality was a little bit of a mixed bag. I thought the gray nubuck they used felt pretty nice. I really thought that it was a decent quality cut of nubuck. However, the white leather on the shoe, it did feel a little bit more on the cheaper side. So when you run your fingers across this leather, you can't really see those natural leather grains. And while it's not the absolute worst leather I've seen, like for example, those general release Nike Sportswear Dunks we've been getting, the leather they use on this pair isn't great either. And in terms of the overall build and craftsmanship, I thought there were some issues with this pair. For example, there were some visible blemishes on the nubuck, some loose threads sticking out on the shoe that I had to trim off myself. And to me, I just felt like it was a little bit rushed and it wasn't the greatest from a quality control standpoint. So with all that out of the way now, let's lace these up and I'll show you guys how these look. Like I said from the start, this Air Trainer 1 in this specific colorway is one of the most iconic Nike shoes of all time. And maybe it's because Tinker Hatfield has designed so many legendary shoes in his career, like the Air Jordan 3, the Air Max 1 and 90. Even though this one is very popular, it still somewhat takes a bit of a backseat compared to those shoes. Still, it's great to see that Nike's showing this model some love, though I would have preferred if they took a bit more of a premium approach to it, or at least gave us better quality control because it is a little bit disappointing in hand. But I guess for the price point of 120 USD or 160 Canadian dollars, maybe that's why they justified cutting costs in terms of the material quality. But I personally would have preferred to pay maybe 200 Canadian dollars if they gave us more premium materials on this shoe. So let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think about this Air Trainer 1 Chlorophyll. What are your overall thoughts on this silhouette? And for those watching, did you guys grab these? Did you pass or did you take an L? If you guys like this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. You can follow me on Instagram at sgo8, check me out on Twitter at sean.go, and visit my website at seango.ca. So until next time, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video and hopefully it helped you in some way, and I'll catch you guys all in the next one.